Alrighty, welcome back to another POI analysis. This time we're doing Camp Cuddle. Last video I forgot to put the drop maps in the end of the video, and I just threw them in the description, so I'm just gonna do that again because it's easier. So Camp Cuddle, I thought this POI was bad. Kind of reminded me a bit of Weepin in terms of the two houses here and the house on top, but Pledge and Teyo I think it is, lands here, and they did pretty decent in the um, what was it called? The Performance Evaluation Cup. So we're just going to VOD review them and see how they do. And now that tournaments are happening, especially when Duo Cash Cups start, I'll be able to really start slamming out the POI analysis because I'll be able to go into the VOD. And before I had to, hopefully they were streaming. So here we are, Camp Cuddle. In total, there are 16 chests right now, just in this area right here. So I don't include the island or this house on top of the hill here. And the reason being is that usually this is taken from someone else, and this is sometimes taken, but I might as well talk now. So usually what happens is that one team loots all of this, one team lands here and rifts here. This team zip lines over here and takes this, is what usually is happening. But I've seen in a few of their VODs where a team actually lands here, loots this as well. So they split this part here, and that forces this team to go here, and then they end up fighting back here, and then Camp Cuddle ends up going back. So that's just, it's good to know what some of the splits are around your POI, and that's just some of the common ones. But we're just going to be included in here. So there's only 16 chests. There's 3 more at the Christmas tree, but those aren't going to be permanent. I don't think so. But if they are permanent, then there's 19 chests, and if they aren't, there's only 16. But there are a fair amount of floor loot spawns. There are in total 51 floor loot spawns. Majority of them, again, in this house and spread out through here. So make sure you check all these houses, all the RV. You can break the RVs here, but check these houses up here for any pads, because I think out of 10 games, you should be leaving with a pad. Maybe, I don't know the percentage, but maybe like 3, 4 of the times. But make sure, again, if you never leave the pad, go back in the VOD. Make sure you check all the loot spawns. Ammo boxes. This surprised the fuck out of me. This place has 34 ammo boxes. That's more than Chonkers. Chonkers is way more floor loot and chest, but there's a shit ton of ammo boxes. And again, all these spawns are just right here. It's not including the mountain house and, I don't know, sniper tower or whatever the fuck you want to call this, island, or something like that. So island and mountain, not including those, and it's just here. So that's a shit ton of ammo. A shit ton of ammo. So weapon machines, there's one right here and there's one on the island. Again, this is still like 50-50 if you're going to get this. It really depends on where everyone else is landed. No meta machines, no web shooters nearby, no Ferraris, but there are a few car spawns back here and spread in the RV spot over here. Let's go up. So I mentioned earlier about the rifts. Usually the rifts either rift back onto here. If it's early and you hear the rifts, that's where they're probably going. If it's late and you're like over here somewhere looting, good chances they're going to zone. Now, if you pull zone, they could be coming to you. So make sure you pay attention to where these people are rifting to. Okay, if you didn't see anyone land over here, but you saw people landed back here, they're probably going to go here to here and then rotate a zone. But if you got zone, they might end up keying you or something like that. Now, a good thing you can also do is that if you notice they're split, this is their split. You might be able to sneak up on this guy, especially with the time to kill now in this meta. You can quickly full kill this guy. He'll be gliding over, spray him out of the air, and if you're good enough, you might be able to kill him too. Zip lines, and this is where the zip lines kind of come into play. So we can see that this house up here kind of has a few options. They can zip line down, they can just go down the mountain, they can slide all the way down here and get down pretty quickly as well and just go over here, or they can zip line across. So if you get the timing down, you might be able to position somewhere over here and be able to tag them when they're ziplining across. Or, again, if you guys are quick enough, you loot all of this and you also somehow take this island from them. So if you notice a team is landed high up here, and let's say the drop is like this. This is the bus path here, and you notice that they're already landed here. You might be even able to land one here, take this loot, zipline back, and then loot all of this. But again, that's kind of getting a little crazy. Slurp truck, none. Slurp barrels, there are 5 back here. So if you don't hear the rift and you don't see anyone back here, you could hypothetically loot all of this, save out on some shield, and hit this. Maybe that's if it's super hot and you want to save up in some shield, you can go back here and hit that. Knobs. These are probably your main knobs you're gonna be getting. So you have a small chance of getting 2 peppers or maybe 4 peppers if you're lucky, but more than that, and you're kind of pushing it. So fishing holes. There are fishing holes spread out throughout here. In most cases, I don't think you're gonna have time to actually hit them because you're gonna be conned. And if you're not conned, then up here will probably be conned. So fishing is a little bit risky because you'll probably end up being tagged for a bit. Coolers. There are some coolers, but it's just an added little plus. There's 2 down here. There's 1 here. So if something ends up happening where Teyo and Pledge, what they actually do is that they send, let's do yellow. One lands up here and the other one lands here. Let's do black because that's still yellow. Black, thank you. So one lands here, and if he ends up getting 4 chugs from both of these, then he can quickly group up, use the chugs, and push. Ice machines, there's one over here, and whatever you want to call this, dock house or something like that. Reboot vans in the middle, so that's pretty normal. Bounty board, and there is a bounty board in here. So now we are going to be going into their VODs and basically what I got from the replay system during their tournament, which was the performance evaluation, which was yesterday, the 4th. Alrighty, so here's Pledge, and he is landing down at the, I don't know what to call these, I call it triple, or rainbow might be able to work, something like that. But he lands down here and he's looking. So the information he's gathered right now is that there are 3 people landing up here, and he saw someone earlier that was way higher up. So that team is either landing main back here. Why can't I? Excuse me. Can you let me? Thank you. They're either landing here or they're landing back where the gas station is. They may be going to the rifts that I talked about before. So he lands directly on the Christmas tree. If the Christmas tree wasn't here, he'd probably land on the rainbows to the right. Lands there and got a sniper. It's unlucky. And immediately looks for a shot somewhere. Now let's go to the next one. This is the right one. Yep. So here's Teyo. I think that's right, Taiyo. That sounds kind of right. Again, he's doing the same thing. He's looking. They recognize these guys up high. He's looking to his right, too. Okay, those guys, they look like they're going for here. You'll see, though. Maybe not. Maybe they're... Then they hear. Okay, wait, there are guys coming to the main is what they're coming. Hurry. Come on, man. Hurry up and break that. If he broke that, he could have gotten a gun and then beam a bit. But yeah, I'll be right back with the next little recording on their replay. So here's just a different angle of Teyo landing in. He actually lands for this little section right here, and he goes up and hits this chest. He's listening, he hears someone that's dropping onto him, so he's probably commenting right now to Pledge, hey, someone's landing on me, you need to get up here and help. So I'm gonna drone attach here and actually show you guys what happens. This guy lands, I don't know where, in this little hut here. Teyo starts shooting, and a good thing about this building is that you can't build here, and there's a bunch of windows and stuff, so you can easily look through. And Pledge is able just to run up those stairs that we see right here. Quickly, he's one gun, he's a pistol, I think. And just have this cross here. End up killing the guy, takes a bit, but they end up killing him over here. There's nowhere where he can run. It's not like an enclosed place over here. He can't run anywhere. He's going to eventually end up dying, which he does. So the next is just good awareness out of Pledge. You see he's aiming for right here. And again, we have Teyo aiming for pink over here. But they notice these 2 guys here. So Pledge is probably commenting something like, hey Teyo, there's 2 guys above you. It looks like they're doubling up on you. And then they know what to do. So they're 100% doubling up, these 2 guys. So Pledge dips off to help. Right here. He lands on this floor loot, or even sometimes there's chest here. And he's going to come help, but they bail out. But still, it's good awareness from Pledge and Teyo to recognize that Teyo's being doubled up and that he might need help, so Pledge alters where he lands just to help out, grab a gun, go push over. So here's something I just thought was interesting. They have the whole POI unconned except for the mountain house up here was conned by whoever these guys are. And he realizes right here, it looks like that he was actually about to go and loot this, which would have been a little bit crazy because these guys can zipline on him. But it looks like that's what he was trying to do. But he recognizes, oh, they're ziplining. This is free tags. So he's just fucking popping them. That's like 60 right now. I think Pledge got a tag in on him too because we'll see his health here soon, and it's also pretty low. and then he just chills here for a bit. Now, he ends up running over here, and just listen. He hears the rift, and it's late. Just like I was mentioning earlier. If it was early, then they're going back here to loot, but because the rift sound was late, they're probably going to be rotating the zone. Something like that. So he immediately hears it, and he runs towards it. He sees them, and he starts going for tags. So right now he has 90 surge himself, or wait, 20, 40, 60, 8, 16, 24. So that's like 84. 84, just him. He doesn't get any more tags. But if he hit these, he would have gotten more tags too. And we don't know how much is on Pledge, but we can assume he probably has like, what, 50 maybe? It's already 130 surge, and they haven't even left their POI yet. Alrighty, here is their uncon loop path. So this is when just in here is unconned. Teyo lands up here, loses back, goes in here, hits the bridge, goes straight across, hits this, and he looks over here just like he did. I don't know if he goes over there or not. Personally, I wouldn't, because around this time where he looks over, Pledge is hidden this house, and they're just be way too split. Now, if this was unconned 100%, maybe, yeah, you go over there, because then you're pretty much safe. Dips back down, hits this like campfire TP thing, hits this is like a god rock, hits the dock, comes back, and then meets up. Meanwhile, Pledge lands at the Christmas tree. He hits triple rainbow, whatever you want to call this, RV, mines up all the RVs, and loots main. And then they either push. Usually they honestly end up pushing, so they look back here to see if this is free, or they start sneaking up like this. Like I have a few screenshots that I want to go over about how they fight and how they push. So I'll do that right now. Alrighty, here's the first screenshot I want to talk about, and this is generally what happens. Pledge, let's do a brighter color, yellow. Pledge lands here, Teyo's up here, one person lands here, one person lands here. Now, the first time I saw this, I was like, well, why would they do that? This place is so much bigger, and I feel like this side would be better. It actually isn't. There's more loot on this side, there's more floor spawns, and most importantly, you can't get third partied or you can't be squished. So, I don't know. Why is it? Oh, I changed on yellow. So you can't get. So this is right here, and then we have that mountain up there. So they can get sprayed down while they try to rotate like this, and then Pledge and Teyo can come in third party. And that team on the mountain doesn't have to come down. They can just tag for Surge, Teyo and Pledge can get the kills, and then they're chilling. So that's why I think they prefer the right side because there's more loot. There's noms. You can rotate out easier. You're not confined because they could rotate out this way, but they're going to get tagged from both teams. And if they pull back, then their rotate's going to be shambles because they're either going to have to loop around like this. And especially if the Rift team, rifts over and hits gas station in the back, this side is kind of fucked. There's not really much they can do. So if you're landing here, you should 100% be landing on this side and then pushing in. Here's another screenshot just further in expanding on that point. Basically, Blue ended up getting sniped by Teyo. It's a good snipe by him. But we can just see that like this guy's looting. This guy's just being annoying. He's just tagging them, tagging them, tagging them. This guy got tagged down from 150 to 100. Just because this guy is tagging them, Pledge is tagging them, Teyo is all the way back here sniping. And if you notice that they aren't pushing. Because what might happen is, let's just go back to the other picture here. So let's say that this is a little bit more advanced. They all already have loot and everything. Actually, let's stay there. Let's say Blue's alive. He's actually alive and he's chilling. If Pledge initiates this fight with Hoovers, say Hovers. If he initiates this fight, it's a one-on-one right now. Blue can easily come and support. Now it's a two-on-one. Teyo has to run all the way down here, and he'll get there probably in like 10 seconds, and then it's a two-on-two. But during that whole time, this team up here is going to be tagging. They're going to be tagging Blue on the rotate over. They're going to be tagging Teyo when he's trying to run over. So Teyo might end up getting to this fight here. That's a 2-on-1. And he might end up being like 110 health because this team's just beaming him with the MK. So that's why they don't actually push up right now. Even though they have this knock, they still aren't pushing is because they don't want to commit to this, to have this guy join in and then these two guys come down to third party. They don't want to fully commit to something where they can easily be third party by another team. So here's an example of Teyo and Pledge pushing. So they have Camp Cuddle unconned, and look at their loot. This is their loot from pretty early. They hit a few God Rocks. I mean, it's like 30 seconds into the bus spawn, I think it is, and then it's like about like a minute and 15 seconds. These guys should be gone by now because this place is pretty small to loot, but they're still lurking around there, and they recognize that they're still up there. So Teyo's going up for a hard angle. So is Pledge. And what do you think these guys are going to think? They're going to think that Teyo and Pledge are inside this building looting. Because, oh, no way they're going to beat me up there. Like, no way they're going to beat me looting. So they're going to come down this mountain all willy-nilly, not giving a shit about anything. And Pledge and Teyo are going to have the fucking god angles, absolutely laser the shit out of one of them, and then hard key them. And that literally what ends up happening. And they wipe these guys in like a second. So this was near the end of the tournaments. These are like pretty good players. They're around the same level in points as Teyo and Pledge. And what ends up happening is that we have a duo landing back here, a duo on top, and a duo in Camp Cuddle. So that's three duos that are in the vicinity. So if you're bad at fighting, don't land Camp Cuddle, basically, because every game they were conned. So what do? Teyo, even though he's weak, he has to stay here and support Pledge. Because if he leaves, then this team can keep Pledge. Sure, they might get shot like this, but eventually they'll get to Pledge and kill him. So he has to stay here and support. Now, what does that mean? Well, these guys start pushing, then he has to take pot shots at them, and they have to devise a plan to either where Pledge comes up or they isolate one and keep. But of course, when they're pushing over, they're probably going to get cracked from these guys as well as maybe even these guys. So it's kind of like this big stalemate that's happening. Like this is Dead Man's Land, and they have to cross this without getting lasered from all these other guys. So what actually ends up happening in this fight, and it's all timing. I was trying to see if Teyo saw it, but this guy ends up lurking around like this to go for a flank, and in the meantime, this guy pushes up, but he pushes too far up. He's like up here, while this guy's over here, and then they pepper up because there's peppers and knob spawns. They pepper up and they just hard key the shit out of Rehan here and just full kill him. Now that was a good play if the timing was a little bit different. So Wanted had a good play because if he got behind Teyo here, Teyo's dead, and then they can kill Pledge easy. It's a 2v1, and these guys won't want a third party. They might go for tags, but they won't want to push down just because it's like the fight's already almost over. So it was a good play by Wanted. It just the timing was a little off, and they would have gotten it too because they're stacked. But the only play Pledge and Teyo have in this situation is hard keying. It's hard keying the shit out of one of them, killing them in like 10 seconds, looting up, and then killing the next one. Alrighty, that is the end of the video. I thought I had one more screenshot, but I guess I didn't. Hopefully you guys learned a lot in this video. Drop maps will be in the description. Please check out the dude that created the drop maps. And I don't think I'm going to be getting to every split, so if your split isn't one of the ones I get, buy from him. He's cheap as fuck, and his drop maps are honestly godly. So please, I highly recommend him, so check him out. Even just check out his socials, because he also has a lot of good information and is also a really good coach. He's a smart guy. Highly recommend. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys have a good night, day, whatever it is for you. And yeah, I don't know what I'm doing next. I think I'm gonna do Sanctuary down here, just for fun. We'll see. Cheers.